Shalom, Israel. So today we're going to look at Genesis chapter 2 and 21. It says, And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. What happened is, most of the times we read this and we start to get very literal, right? We start to forget the metaphorical ways the Bible speaks in, right? So, the first thing we need to remember is all of this was after the seventh day. Creation was done within the first 7 days. That was done from chapter 1, right? So, this is not another form of creation. He did not create men in the beginning and then afterwards create women. All right? So this is talking about something different. So let's read it one more time. It says, And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs. When you look at the anatomy of the ribs, right? What do you see? They come in pairs, right? So he took one, right? And closed up the flesh instead thereof. So he took a woman from the same tribe, from the same family as Adam, and they started a family, right? Because when you go throughout all the scriptures, all of our forefathers, they always wanted a husband for their daughter or a wife for their sons within their family. Abraham wanted a wife for Isaac. He sent the servant he said, don't take any of the Canaanites, don't take any of those Hamites, right? But get one from within our family. That's something they learned from Adam. It has always been the same tradition. We never used to marry outside of our tribes, outside of our nation, right? So when he says, and he took one of his ribs, he took one from the family, from the nation of the Adamites. Just like today, it would be from the nation of the Israelites, right? And it says, and he closed up the flesh instead thereof. So when he take that woman and that man, he closed the family unit there. One man, one woman, put them together. And that was it, right? Now we have places where we can go to see that when it's talking about, for example, when goes down to, let me read 22. It says, And the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. Right? So we're gonna go to few precepts to understand what is it actually talking about. Let me highlight and read. This is 2 Samuel chapter 5. Hold on. And verse 1. It says, Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. What is it saying? We are your family. Same tribe, same nation, same people. Right? Let's go to Genesis 29, verse 14. It says, let me get it down here. It says, And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. Because he was the uncle of Jacob, right? So that's what it's talking about. When it says bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, it is just saying family of my family. That's all it is saying, right? So, like I said, if you when you go to Genesis chapter 6 and you see where the flood is, when it says the sons of God were taken unto the daughters of men, that's going into what? We started going outside of our nation to make marriages, and that was a commandment. When you read Deuteronomy chapter 7, he said, these nations around you, don't make marriages with them. Do not bring their daughters unto your sons, and do not send vice versa, right? So we were never supposed to get into those types of relationship in the first place, and that was a commandment. Because what happened? Two different beliefs, and what usually happen is, especially in the black communities, who always end up being the one growing the children, the mothers. So when us, the sons of the Most High, take on to foreign women, you know what happened to the children? They learn their languages, their traditions, their customs, their beliefs, their gods, and they forget our heritage. That is one of the main things that happen. It disconnects our children from the Most High, from the knowledge of their forefathers, from the true heritage, right? So this is why we always keep it in our race. It's very important. All right. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 2 and 21. So he said, verse 23 says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Because what happened now? We're one family. Family not just biologically, but in the spirit of the mind, right? Now she starts to think like you, she does things like you, she keeps the customs you keep, she keeps the feast days you keep, right? You become of one mind. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 9, verse 2. It says, speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it is better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are the 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. Still talking about family. All right, let's go to First Chronicles chapter 11. It says, let me highlight. It says, then all Israel gathered themselves to David and to Hebron, saying, behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. It's talking about the same thing, family, right? And there are a few other instances we can go to, but I guess we got the point by now. So when it says, back to Genesis chapter 2 and 21, when it says, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs. This is not a new creation, this is not anything scientific, it's just simple. A woman of your family, right? You teach that woman, you become one flesh, one mind, right? Just as it says, when the wife and the husband agree together, that is what the most High glorifies in, right? So this is how we keep the household together. First, you take a woman of your own kindred, one that speaks your tongue, one that serves the same Father that you serve, right? Believe in the same scriptures that you believe in, right? One that will reverence you, right? It's not easy to humble a woman of another nation. And this is why we don't take on to the foreign women, right? Our forefathers are not pleased to see these type of things, right? So, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. The family unit closes right there. So now the man and the woman is in unity. Shalom.